Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Rangers Review. It's our press conference reaction. I'm Derek Clark, and I'm joined live outside the Rangers Training Centre by Euan Robertson. How's it going, Euan?
It's going well. I'm a bit paranoid that the rain might start any minute and that this could end in disaster. But other than that, it was a good day at the press the Auckland Howie. There was 3 different press conferences, so a very busy afternoon up here.
Yeah, Malky Thompson, of course, James Bisgrove and Michael Beale were put up for the press ahead of the game on Sunday again. We'll start off with the manager, Euan, if you don't mind. What were the big takeaways from his press conference this afternoon?
There's quite a lot to take away from it. I think one of the biggest ones that's probably not hit social media yet is the fact he was saying that they'll let supporters know next week about who is leaving the club in the summer. So that's going to be quite interesting. It looks like there'll be an official announcement next week, so after the game against Hibs on Sunday. So you expect the likes of Alfredo Morelos and Ryan Kent, their exits will be confirmed, and Beale also hinted at the fact that the game in midweek could be a chance to say goodbye to some of these players. Obviously another one will be Alan McGregor. The expectation is that he will leave the club in the summer. What a servant he's been for Rangers Football Club. That could be his last appearance in front of Ibrox. So that was certainly an interesting point to look forward to maybe next week. And obviously there was the usual questions about transfer business and transfer targets. I think Michael Beale's kept his cards a little bit closer to his chest in recent weeks about his kind of transfer plans for the summer, but he was asked about Jose Cifuentes, who we've been last 40 hours so much about. He's been very active in social media, hasn't he? He's not poured any cold water on the rumours. His agent was at the game against Celtic at the weekend. It's understood he was at Auckland Howie as well. But Beale basically said he was a very good player, but there wasn't really too much else to say on that. But I think it's all about his contract. I think that the player is free to sign a free contract agreement from July. But I believe that LAFC have quite a big game coming up in their equivalent of the Champions League. So I'd expect they'd be maybe not unwilling, but they'd be cautious over selling him before that game. I believe it's in July, Derek, and he's also out of contract in December, so you'd expect that you could maybe get a good deal on the price for the player. But I think there'll be other clubs interested as well. So I certainly don't think anything's signed and there's no I's dotted and crosses on the T's just yet.
Yeah, he doesn't reveal too much with regard to incoming transfers. Team news ahead of the game, of course. Rangers travel to Leith to take on the Hibs. Who's in and who's out, Euan?
Well, you say you only have a squad of about 16 players to choose from ahead of that. So he also mentioned that some other younger players will come up from the B team over the remaining 3 games, because obviously Zach Lovelace is away with England under-17s. Bailey Rice, who was on the bench last week against Celtic, he's away with Scotland under-17s. The big team news is that Connor Goldson probably will miss out on Sunday, which is disappointing. Obviously his partnership with John Souttar's looked quite good. Second half against Aberdeen and against Celtic last weekend. Ben Davies isn't expected to return, so it could well be Leon King, centre back next to John Souttar. And I can't remember the last time that Leon King, in fact, I don't think he has played under Michael Beale as far as I remember, Derek.
I think he may have featured against Bayer Leverkusen in that friendly, but apart from that, no, I don't think we've seen him at all. So yeah, I'd like to see him start on Sunday. I think he deserves a run out if he's fit and firing. Of course, Ryan Jack, just prior to the press conference, Ryan Jack confirmed by the club had signed a year's contract extension. Was the manager asked about Jack at all?
He was indeed, and he just mentioned that he's an important player. When he's fit, Ryan Jack's tended to start under Michael Beale. Obviously his experience, being a homegrown player as well, is important for obviously quotas. And I think the expectation was for a couple of months now that Jack would sign a new deal. I don't think Beale made any secret that he wanted to keep him at the club. But it was maybe the kind of terms on the deal which was up for debate. Would it be a 1-year deal, which it is, or would it be a longer deal with a pay-as-you-play sort of option put into it? But I think Ryan Jack's a player that Michael Beale admires, and Stephen Gerrard, when he was at the club, admired him a lot as well. So I think he's a player that will be important next season. Maybe not a guaranteed starter week in, week out, Derek, but he'll certainly get a lot of game time next season.
Yeah. James Bisgrove was also put up for the press prior to Michael Beale coming in, Euan, which was good to see, I've got to say. I think it's great to see that course, he's the incoming CEO. Lots of interesting takeaways from his press conferences. He was there for quite a fair bit. I've been busy transcribing it. Folks, it'll be on the website shortly. The big talking points from that, Euan, what would you say?
How long have you got there? I mean, like you said, I think he spoke for 17 minutes.
Yeah.
He also had done the Rangers TV interview through the week. I thought he spoke quite impressively, and I think the general feedback was that he spoke quite impressively there. It's also a little bit different when he faces outside media, because the line of questions going to be different naturally. There was quite a lot of talk about. I think fans are definitely interested in safe standing. He went into a lot of detail about that and the kind of timelines of that moving forward. But the biggest takeaway from the safe standing section certainly was that the Bisgrove and other members of the board are in favour of it. So it looks like something that they're looking into the feasibility of it. And down the line, it looks like it won't be next season. It'll be maybe a couple of seasons' time before you can realistically expect anything like that to be brought in. He talked about the transfer plans, how Michael Beale and Ross Wilson, when he was there, and obviously John Park now have a plan that the board have backed. That's been worked on the last few months. It's not as if it's like a sort of supermarket sweep, last minute dash around the transfer market to bring in players. It's been, the plan's been worked on for months behind the scenes, and it's all about put it into place, and the board have backed that. So it'll be interesting to see that come to fruition in coming months. There's also a lot of questions about the Old Firm ticket allocations. I mean, a lot of the press conference did focus upon that. I think James Bisgrove said that they'll probably have dialogue with Celtic and other stakeholders over the summer about what that may be. But there's obviously the issue with season tickets. There's no chance it's going to go back to 7,000, 8,000 next season. What's more likely, if it comes back at all, is it will be 800, 700, both at Ibrox and Celtic Park. I mean, he did also feed up the kind of Graham Souness rumours towards the end. That's also been a big story there. He basically said, look, he was in Glasgow, we had a coffee, we're quite keen for all our former players, and certainly someone like Souness, who's also a club legend, to have a good relationship with the club. Has also mentioned maybe about an ambassadorial role moving forward, but that's also not been spoken about yet. But I think it's great to see. I've seen the comment from Alex coming in there. It's great to see the CEO of the club front up in front of the media and speak. He spoke on so many issues. I've probably forgotten a couple of them off the top of my head, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else, Derek. That
was the main ones, Euan. But like you, it is refreshing to see that. I mean, we're not asking for it every week, right enough, but it's good to have that dialogue. The supporters appreciate it. Maka raises a point and says, afternoon, Derek. Beale confirming the departures and would have liked Bisgrove to address the medical staff issue in his presser. I think it's certainly something that Rangers are looking at forensically behind the scenes. They can't afford to have another season like they've had this season with so many high-profile players on the treatment table. But interesting points coming away from both James Bisgrove and Michael Beale. And Malky Thompson was there as well, wasn't he? Euan, of course, huge match for the women's team this weekend.
Massive. What a title race deciding day it's going to be. The Rangers are right in the mix of playing Glasgow City, who obviously topped the league. It could well. If Rangers win, it's probably going to come down to goal difference with Celtic playing Hearts. But I think the main takeaway is that 10,000 tickets have been sold to date so far, which is incredible. That'll be a record for Rangers, of course, and it could well be a Scottish domestic record, potentially at Ibrox. So it's fantastic to see so many fans support it. Michael Beale actually spoke about it as well, which was good to see. So Malky Thompson spoke really well. I think Rangers will be confident going into the game. They can beat Glasgow City. They've been in really good form recently. This might come down to a case of who scores more goals, which could be incredibly exciting for a neutral. But I don't think it'll be too exciting for, probably more nerve-wracking for the fans who are in Ibrox on Sunday. Also, I think it's a 4:15 kick-off. I believe at Ibrox at the weekend.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. So folks, you can check those press conferences on our YouTube channel and also the transcriptions if you prefer to read what was said on the website. Make sure you're subscribing to the website to look at all the content we've got on there. Big thanks to Euan outside the Rangers Training Centre for bringing us all the latest from those press conferences, and thanks to everyone as ever, for watching the programme and for interacting as well. As just a reminder, as I mentioned earlier on, Josh will be at the game on Sunday for us, bringing us all the usual pre-match and post-match reaction. Will you be there, Euan, on Sunday?
Yes, I'm going to Ibrox on Sunday for the women's game, so we'll have loads of coverage from Ibrox as well.
Yeah, sensational. So keep your eyes peeled, folks, on the website and also on our social media accounts. But until then, bye for now.